This is headquarters. Your home away from home and the center of your time here off the front line.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Solemn Salmon. We're going to be talking a little bit about Call of Duty WW2. Like a lot of you out there, I'm sure, I've been getting to grips with the Call of Duty private beta over the weekend, and I've got a few thoughts to share about Call of Duty returning to its original setting for the first time in about 9 years. There seems to have been a lot of discussion recently about whether or not it's a good thing that Call of Duty games are heading back to the classic setting, as it were. And I kind of understand where a lot of people are coming from. I mean, the new game is getting rid of a lot of the almost revolutionary aspects that have come into the game in those 9 years. So there's no more wall running, there's no more jetpacks, there's no more little perks that let you see through a wall to see where the enemy is or anything like that. It is a return to that almost slower pace of Call of Duty World at War. The last time it was set in World War II, COD 5, which was the first Call of Duty game that I actually played. It was the first game I think I owned on PlayStation 3. I mean, that tells you just how long ago it was. But, I mean, to me, returning to that setting, that era, is the best thing possible for Call of Duty, because I personally haven't played some of the more recent iterations of the game, because I've seen it as moving away from the franchise that I got into, the franchise that I loved, and heading away from the wall running, the jetpacks, the kind of insanely fast-paced and maneuverable game it became, I think is better, because it put me off. It put me off just how futuristic and almost manufactured Call of Duty was becoming. So yeah, heading back to that classic era for me can only be a good thing, because that's where Call of Duty started. I mean, the first 3 games of the series were World War II games. Then you had Modern Warfare, which was a huge departure for the franchise, for first-person shooters, really, to jump from such an established setting to something so brand new. And then, of course, they jumped back to it with World at War, as I've just said, which, it's such a good game, World at War. I mean, I hear a lot of criticism about it, but it was an incredible game at the time, and I sunk so many hours into it while I was at secondary school. But World at War 2, the new game, it does feel like a step back to that kind of slower pace, the more tactical moving around the map. I mean, I was playing on the Gibraltar map, and it reminded me a lot of Cliffside, aesthetically especially. I mean, there's parts where you're moving along the very edge of cliffs where you can see the battleships up in the distance. And there's also the aspects where you're moving through tunnels, you're moving through ruins. And yeah, it reminded me a lot of Cliffside from World at War. The game has retained a lot of the new aspects, though. I mean, it's not a complete step back. It has retained a lot of the new things they brought in. As I said, it does maintain that customization aspect to the games. Like, there's a lot more diverse character portraits you can have for your characters in-game, which is excellent. It has the little kind of customizable gamer tags, which, I mean, they don't do anything in-game, but just being able to pick one that you particularly like is a nice aspect. Being able to be the Dutch army is pretty cool. I mean, yeah. How they've changed creator class should be pretty interesting as well. I mean, they've gotten rid of perks, which came in Call of Duty Modern Warfare, COD 4. So, I mean, that, again, is a huge departure. I mean, they're not just going back to a setting, but they're rethinking how it all works. They're getting rid of the perk system, and they're bringing in basic training, which works in a very similar way, but is more revolved around picking a division, which, I mean, you can change it. It's not a huge deal, but it'll be interesting to see if that works in the class system and the moving up through the levels that comes with the multiplayer. I mean, will you want to change your division when you prestige, for example? Will you find out after 20 levels where you're halfway through a prestige that, you know what, I really wish I hadn't picked infantry. I really wish I'd gone for the Canadian Mountaineers. I mean, they said they were the elite division within the Allied forces, so maybe they were the ones to go for. But yeah, I mean, it's not completely moving back to that slower pace. As I said, I liked that tactical aspect where on some slightly larger to medium maps where there were only 6 players on each side, you did have to think about where you were going, I mean, which objective you were going towards, which avenue you were going to use to get to it. It was a much slower pace compared to, say, Modern Warfare 3 and later, but it's not like dead slow. I mean, you play on Pont de Hoc, the kind of trench map and you go for objective B, and that is crazy. I mean, getting stuck in the middle of those trenches with people firing at you from pretty much 4 directions, you have to be quick. You have to be quick on the reflexes. You have to be fast. You have to be aware. It's not a slow game by any stretch of the imagination. So all the criticism saying, oh, it's boring without the maneuverability of wall running, etc. I could not emphasize how wrong that is, from my perspective anyway, because even with those, air quotes here, limitations, it's still a challenging game just to get to the objectives, let alone capture them. I mean, getting kills, etc. I mean, if you focus on getting your kill death pretty high, as I used to do when I was a lot younger, this is going to be a challenge. I mean, it's not Black Ops 1 where you could relatively easily get to about a kill death of 2. I mean, I imagine I'll struggle to get to 1.5 at this rate, if even 1. Yeah, I mean, I found this game hard. It could just be that I haven't played a Call of Duty game in quite a while, but I found it hard. So yeah, there's a lot of innovation going into this game. It's not just a return to the old setting. It is a new game in a lot of ways. I mean, one of the big criticisms that I do agree with of this game is that it still doesn't let you have those large-scale battles that, say, Battlefield does. I mean, 12 on each side, where it really does feel like one army fighting another sometimes. I really do feel like that is still missing from a Call of Duty game. I mean, they've tried to get it into war modes, the other kind of big mode they've been showing a lot of, where you're either the Allies or the Axis defending or taking objectives across a map. And that, I think, will be a really good game mode. It has that bigger team size with 12 on each side. It's not just keep trying to get A, keep trying to get B, keep trying to get C. It could be take this point. Right, okay, now we need to destroy these 2 walls. Okay, now we need to take out all the people between us and the next objective. Okay, now you need to sit within a circle for such amount of time. It's varied, so it keeps things lively. But at the same time, all of the traditional modes like Domination, Team Deathmatch, Headquarters, they're still limited by that 6v6, which you'd think that by this point, Call of Duty, whoever's making it, Treyarch, Sledgehammer, etc., somebody could have said, right, we need to implement bigger matches, bigger maps into traditional game modes. We need 12v12 Domination. We need 12v12 Headquarters. Imagine 12v12 Domination, okay? Everybody engaging on that one point. It would be absolute carnage, and I personally would really love the opportunity to get involved in that absolute carnage. You would have to be so on point to do successfully in a match like that, but I think everybody who played it would want to at least give it a go. I mean, you might find that all 24 players engaging on point C is absolute carnage, but yeah, for me that's a positive, not a negative. From my perspective, this beta showed Call of Duty World War II off in a really good light. I'm really looking forward to it now. I mean, I'm definitely going to purchase it having played the beta. So, I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think that Call of Duty heading back to its classic, as it's being called, setting of World War II is a good thing? Do you miss the modern aspect, the futuristic aspect? Do you wish there was another game set in space? You're wrong if you think that. But you're more than entitled to your opinion. Anyway, let me know in the comments. And, of course, please like and subscribe for more videos covering not just Call of Duty. We'll probably have some Call of Duty videos coming up once the game is out, or if there's a new development, but other stuff as well. Still making our way through Sniper Ghost Warrior 3, and, of course, there will be more PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. So, yeah, like and subscribe, and make sure to come back to Solemn Salmon for more stuff. Until next time.